Let me ask you something that most people never stop to think about. Have you ever noticed that two people can earn the exact same salary, live in the same city, have the same opportunities, and yet 10 years later one of them is financially free while the other is still struggling to make ends meet? That's not luck. That's not talent. And it's definitely not because one of them worked harder than the other. The difference almost always comes down to a set of decisions, habits, and beliefs that most people never even realize are shaping their financial destiny every single day. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Because once you understand what's really happening beneath the surface of wealth and poverty, you can never unsee it. And more importantly, you can start using it to your advantage starting right now. Here's the first thing you need to understand. And this one might sting a little. Most people are getting poorer without even realizing it. Not because they're spending recklessly, not because they made a terrible investment, but simply because they're doing nothing. You see, money sitting still isn't neutral. It's actually losing value every single year because of inflation. Think about it this way. If you have money in a savings account earning 1 or 2% per year, but inflation is running at 4 or 5%, you are effectively losing purchasing power every single month. You have more numbers in your account, but those numbers buy you less and less over time. The system is quietly working against you while you think you're being responsible by saving. And this is the trap that millions of people fall into. They were told that saving is smart and saving is important. Don't get me wrong, but saving alone has never made anyone wealthy. The people who build real wealth understand that money must move. It must be put to work. It must be placed in positions where it grows faster than inflation erodes it. The moment you understand that doing nothing with your money is actually a losing strategy, everything changes. Now, let me talk about something that is probably costing you more than anything else in your financial life. And it's not your mortgage. It's not your car payment. It's not even your coffee habit. It's the time you've already spent not investing. Most people think wealth is about how much you earn, but the ones who actually build it know that wealth is almost entirely about time in the game. There's a concept called compound interest, and Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. Here's why. When you invest money and it earns a return, the next period you're earning a return not just on your original money, but on the growth from the previous period too. So the longer your money is invested, the faster it accelerates. Someone who starts investing at 22 with a modest amount will end up with dramatically more money by retirement than someone who starts at 32 with twice the monthly contribution. Not because they invested more total money, but because time did the heavy lifting for them. Every year you delay is not just a year of lost returns. It's a year of lost compounding. And that math is brutal in the wrong direction. The wealthy don't just invest. They start early and they stay in the game consistently, letting time do what no amount of hustle can replicate. But here's where it gets really interesting, because most people who understand compounding still don't act on it. And I've thought about this a lot, and I'm convinced the real reason is something deeper than knowledge. It's comfort. Comfort is the silent killer of financial ambition. Think about it. The human brain is wired to prefer immediate rewards over future ones. Getting a new phone feels good right now. Going out for an expensive dinner feels good right now. Upgrading your car feels good right now. Putting $300 into an investment account feels like nothing right now. There's no dopamine hit, no celebration, no visible change in your life. But in 20 years, that $300, compounding month after month, could be worth thousands. The wealthy have trained themselves to delay gratification in a way that most people simply haven't. They feel the pull of instant pleasure just like anyone else, but they've developed a different relationship with it. They've learned to get excited about the future version of their wealth, not just the present version of their comfort. And that shift in how you relate to money and time is one of the most powerful things you can develop. Now, let's talk about something practical that separates people who stay broke from people who build wealth. and that is the way they respond to income increases. Here's what typically happens for most people. They get a raise at work, maybe a promotion, maybe a side hustle starts taking off, and almost immediately their lifestyle expands to match. Bigger apartment, nicer car, more frequent vacations, better restaurants. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the most insidious traps in personal finance. Because on the surface, it looks like success. You're earning more, you're living better, everything seems fine. But underneath, your savings rate hasn't moved. Your investments haven't grown. You're just running the same race on a faster treadmill. The wealthy do the opposite. When their income grows, their lifestyle stays relatively stable while their investment contributions increase. They live below their means not because they're cheap, but because they understand that every dollar that doesn't go into an asset today is a dollar that won't generate returns tomorrow. This doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money. It means you pay your future self first, before you pay for anything else. And this brings me to one of the most counterintuitive truths about building wealth. The people who accumulate the most money are rarely the ones who look the richest on the surface. Research has consistently shown that many of the wealthiest people in the world drive modest cars, live in average neighborhoods, and don't show off designer clothing. Meanwhile, many of the people who look wealthy are actually living paycheck to paycheck, financing a lifestyle that their income can't truly support. There's a massive difference between appearing wealthy and being wealthy. Appearing wealthy costs money. Being wealthy generates money. And when you stop caring about looking rich and start focusing on actually becoming financially free, you realize that the two paths lead in completely opposite directions. One is about impressing others with what you have. The other is about quietly building something that gives you options, freedom, and security for the rest of your life. Now I want to address the role that fear plays in all of this, because I think it's massively underestimated. The number one reason most people never start investing seriously is fear. Fear of losing money. Fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of not knowing enough. Fear of what happens if it doesn't work. And I understand that fear completely. But here's what nobody tells you. That fear left unchecked is the most expensive thing in your life. Because every month you spend paralyzed by fear is a month that the market is growing without you. It's a month of compound interest you'll never get back. It's a month where someone else is building the future you want while you're waiting for the perfect moment that will never come. The answer to fear is never paralysis. The answer is education. The more you learn about how markets work, how investments behave over long periods of time, how to manage and diversify risk, the less terrifying it all becomes. You don't need to become a financial expert. You just need to know enough to make informed decisions and get started, because done is infinitely better than perfect when it comes to building wealth. Let me also talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention in financial conversations, and that's the people around you. Your social circle has an enormous impact on your financial outcomes, more than most people are willing to admit. Think about it. If all your friends spend lavishly on weekends, it creates social pressure for you to do the same. If the people you spend the most time with see investing as risky and unnecessary, that attitude subtly shapes your own. But if you surround yourself with people who talk about investments, who share ideas about building income streams, who celebrate financial milestones instead of just luxury purchases, you naturally start thinking and behaving differently. This isn't about abandoning your friends. It's about being intentional about whose mindset you absorb. Read biographies of people who built wealth from nothing. Listen to conversations about money that challenge your assumptions. Seek out communities where financial growth is a shared goal, because your financial future is heavily influenced by the ideas you're exposed to every single day, and most people never consciously choose those ideas at all. Now, let's get into something that trips up even people who are genuinely trying to build wealth: the difference between being busy and being productive with your money. A lot of people feel like they're doing everything right. They're working extra hours. They're cutting expenses. They're stressed about money all the time. But busy and broke is a very real combination. The problem isn't effort. The problem is direction. Working more hours in a job that pays you a fixed rate means your income is capped no matter how hard you work. Cutting expenses can only take you so far before there's nothing left to cut. Real financial progress comes from increasing the return on the money you already have and building income sources that don't require more hours from you. That's a shift from working harder to working smarter, from linear income to exponential growth. The wealthy aren't necessarily working more than everyone else. They've simply positioned their money and their energy in ways that produce results beyond what any single effort can generate. Let me give you a very clear picture of what this actually looks like in practice. Imagine two people, both earning the same income. Person A spends most of what they earn, saves a little, has no investments, and relies entirely on their job. Person B earns the same amount but consistently puts money into investments, has built a small online income stream on the side, and owns a rental property they finance strategically. 5 years later, these two people are living completely different financial realities, not because of luck or talent, but because of the decisions made with the same starting point. This is the wealth gap in action. And the beautiful thing is it's not about what you were born with. It's about the financial decisions you make repeatedly over time. Every choice either brings you closer to freedom or keeps you further away from it. So what does all of this mean for you right now? Today, it means that wherever you are financially, the trajectory can change. It always starts with awareness. Understand that the game exists and learning how to play it. Then it moves to action, because awareness without movement is just entertainment. You need to look honestly at your finances right now and ask yourself some hard questions. How much of your income is going toward things that generate nothing in return? How much is going toward assets that will pay you back? Do you have any passive income? Do you have a plan for what happens if your job disappears tomorrow? Are you letting time and compounding work for you? Or are you burning both without a second thought? These questions aren't meant to make you feel bad. They're meant to wake something up in you, because the people who change their financial lives don't wait for a perfect plan to appear. They get uncomfortable, they ask the hard questions, and they take the first imperfect step forward. Because that first step, no matter how small, is the one that starts compounding too. And over time, small, consistent actions taken with the right mindset produce results that feel almost unbelievable to the person you used to be.